take things a little bit easier here when you're in KZN. You guys in Joburg, you work too hard. You know, when you're here, when in Rome, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, broadcasting from Umhlanga, we're still here. The conference has actually begun, so everybody's gone inside and they've started to discuss everything that pertains to airports here on the African continent, and South Africa hosting this 23rd international conference when it comes to the running of airports. So we wish them the best of luck, and I hope everything goes well for them. But there's something else we need to talk about, and I know that it was something that I saw all over Twitter yesterday, and I've got Tunzi Magwa who's with me now, and he's going to tell me a little bit about a cycling race that took place yesterday. It was actually what was it called? I mean, we're just talking, so we're having like an off-air conversation on air. So I know it was. I saw that it was Togo Sun was involved, and I saw so many of my friends on Twitter were taking place in it. And you were there, and you were the winner.
Well, it's
your team.
Amashova. It's the Amashova, but from this year, it's the Tsuho Amashova. Tsuho, which we are very grateful for, is a corporate that is taking cycling, especially the professional side of cycling, seriously, and they've invested in it. They've made it bigger. They've made it better. It was a very well organized event, I must tell you. I think with about 13,000 participants, which makes it the third largest open race in the country at the moment.
That's incredible. Pietermaritzburg to Durban.
Pietermaritzburg to Durban.
So that's the Comrades Marathon on a bicycle.
It's the Comrades Marathon much longer on a bicycle. You know, I think the Comrades is about 90 kilometers, 80 something, 90 kilometers. This one is 106 kilometers, up in Changa, up a valley of 1,000 hills, up Waters Hill. And really why I'm so excited is that, I mean, I've ridden it many times. I got a 10-year recognition placard, a green card, which is also unique to the Tsuho Amashova, I must tell you. It makes you feel like a serious cyclist, like a Protea or a Springbok. But the beauty about this particular one is that my team Abantu, Nolan Hoffman being the star sprinter with his team, have won this race 3 times in a row.
Amazing.
3 times in a row.
And it's not an easy race. Is it? It's an uphill.
It's a tough race.
It's
many uphills.
Many uphills.
Many.
I mean, you've got to educate me, because I know that when it came to the Comrades Marathon, the late Vuyo Mbuli used to educate me every year whether they were running an uphill or a downhill. But I mean, so when you go from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, that's uphill.
In our case, we don't have a down and an up for the road cycling event.
Okay.
So you encounter a lot of uphills. I mean, it's you know, it's in fact a young brother of mine who just did his first yesterday was saying, I mean, shame, he did about, I think, quite a good time for somebody who hasn't done it before. But he was saying every time he looked, he saw a hill. He says every time I looked, he says he was misled. He didn't realize it was so hilly. But it's and it's not your typical, I think, profile for Nolan Hoffman, because he's a sprinter. He's a purebred sprinter. You know, there's no one in this country who can outsprint him today. I mean, he's feared like you cannot believe. But, you know, for him to have won this 3 times, especially in a city like Durban, because I don't know if you're aware, Go Durban is a project of the eThekwini municipality, where it's backed by the mayor, his worship, James Ngumalo, who cycled as well, who 2 weeks ago launched this project, their first non-motorized integrated transport system. And so you couldn't choose a better city for cycling to happen, and they take cycling very seriously. He takes Nolan Hoffman very seriously. He's made him like his friend now. He wants him to mentor the young kids in the city and so on. So it's just lovely.
You talk about Go Durban and the cycling initiative. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to implement almost like a? I mean, I saw it and I've spoken about it quite a lot on air. We were overseas and I was in 2 respective cities, New York and Paris, and they've got this bicycle hiring system that it's almost like that is the public transport system. Is that something that they're looking at doing here?
What they are doing. They're looking at an integrated transport, non-motorized transport system where cycling is a huge element, rail is a huge element, road, of course, is a huge element, but they are tapping onto the health aspects of cycling. They're tapping into the fact that poor people who cannot afford to drive all the time, the fuel and so on, can ride to work. They're tapping on the fact that for congestion of cities, from an environmental friendly point of view, from a greening point of view, it's better. All the cities throughout the world that are green want to use bicycles, because you don't have the kind of smoke that we have with cars and so on. So they've taken all of that and they've taken cycling as a very key feature. I mean, the guy who runs Go Durban is an amazing, amazing guy, but of course he's just working to support all the amazing people like his worship, as I said, the mayor, James Ngumalo.
Which it is. It's a highly affordable mode of transport. I mean, obviously when you get professional, it's a different story altogether. But I mean, if I look at some of the cities that have implemented it, I mean, it can cost you about 500 Rand a year for a subscription. You can use the bicycle anytime of the day or night. Anywhere you want to, which is a great answer. And it's that health issue, because getting out, cycling, keeping fit. I mean, look at you. You're like a machine. How long have you been cycling for?
I've been cycling for 14 years. Yes, and I mean, it's incrementally grown into me. I'm hugely passionate about it. That's also why, I mean, I've been sponsoring the team from my pocket for the last 15 months because, you know, it's very difficult to get financial sponsorship for professional cycling. You know, a lot of people go towards the event, they sponsor the event, but not the guys who make the event because, you know, and for me it's a conundrum because you cannot have the event without the professionals guy. But for me, riding it also gives me an opportunity. I travel a lot. I travel excessively, so I'm not able to keep fit all the time with my friends. So I come back, I have to chase them all the time. So to avoid that, I take my bicycle with me. If I'm 2 weeks, 3 weeks overseas somewhere, I take my bicycle with me. I ride. I see places I never would have seen if I was in a car or on a rail or on a bus. I meet friends. I meet people all over the world, everywhere I go. So it is an amazing, amazing sport that I'd like to see as many people get involved in. Less injuries, unless, of course, you know, from a road safety point of view, that's the other thing that Go Durban is going to be doing. Safety is a very big element. You know, safety in cycling, building of the communities, making sure that also through cycling as an unorthodox way of creation of employment, you can be able to bring dignity to the family unit. Because those cyclists, one cyclist is able to support a whole family. He's able to make sure that a whole family has bread, has got a good roof over their heads and so on. So it's for me, it's I just love it. I just love it.
I'm so glad I met you. I've been wanting to get involved in it, and I found a guy who's going to help me out now. Finally, after all of this time, Vaylen's going to be happy because I've been bugging her, and Vaylen, you haven't helped me. This man's going to help me. Mpunzi, thank you for talking to him. Well done for yesterday, and you and your team.
And thank you.
Keep it up. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. All right. Well, Mpunzi, go for it. Walk through. Go. You're a busy man. Go. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. That's the end.